One. Hello, everybody. How is everyone today? Welcome to our little chat series, impromptu. Today we have the fantastic Daniel Humpage, and known as many names, Tartan Kiwi. I think there's possibly another name in there. Haynes Domain, is that right?
Yeah, that's new. Yeah,
that's new. Yes, excellent. Hopefully technology is working well today, and let's get into it. So, I am your host, Damien. If you didn't know, we are part of Fantastic Kings and Where to Find Them, run by the magnificent Hope LaVelle. You can find all our videos on YouTube and some on Twitch. And, oh, we have another Kiwi in the chat. Hello, second Kiwi. Let us introduce further Daniel. Daniel, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I woke up late, but I'm good. I have coffee, so it's all right.
Excellent.
But yes,
my sound is going out in and out. Is it all right now? Was it going in and out a bit?
No, it was fun.
Fine. Okay.
I don't know.
I'm always.
It's when you talk quieter or loud.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Excellent. No worries. I might have to just fiddle with the settings.
Coffee good.
Let's start with Daniel. Who are you?
Yes.
Who are you, and what's your history of gaming? Start with an easy one.
Okay. Well, I am. I'm Daniel. I'm a illustrator for tabletop mostly, as well as a voice actor for video games and animation. That's basically my MO. I also just really like tabletop. I played D&D and Pathfinder. I actually started with Pathfinder, by the way, but I played both sort of around late teens. I played a bit before that. My dad ran. How I got into tabletop was my dad actually ran a Star Wars Galaxy type thing, like tabletop RPG, and we were both. I think we were both Jedi or something. And he was the, I didn't know it at the time, but he was a DMPC, and then as the Jedi Master, my character was the Padawan. It was really cute. So that's how I got into tabletop RPGs when I was goodness, I think like 11.
11. That's an early starter.
Yeah, pretty early on. I really like that stuff. I would have like hiatuses. But
yeah,
because life, and also back then tabletop RPGs before they got really popular, people would be like, "What's that? I like Cards Against Humanity or Catan," and you'd be like, "I mean, I like them too, I guess." I guess.
Yeah, nothing.
Then it got popular because podcasts. You got Adventure Zone, Critical Role, whatever. And they made it popular. You got like the
yes.
So it's cool.
Oh, very good, very good. Now, of course, a question I'm sure you get so many times. Why are there so many songs about rainbows?
Why are there so many songs about rainbows? Because they're great. Why wouldn't you sing about multicolored light formations? Wouldn't you sing them? It's amazing. They're fantastic.
Shall we sing the song or leave that for another time?
Oh, my singing voice right now is not cracked up to be singing, or very cracked if you take my meaning. I'm cracking all the time. You know what I mean, man?
Oh, man.
So, it was like Scoob.
I think
like Zoinks.
I think maybe we should have a bonus episode, or maybe right at the end of our mini series we should all sing that song. Maybe, yeah.
Oh goodness!
And Hope can lead the chorus. Yeah, let's do that.
Rainbow, bo 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 bo.
And what's on the other side? Yes. Now, so describe your character for any newbies that may be just jumping in.
Sup, noobs? My character is a a Dampier. He's a essentially like a half vampire is what you'd call them. You know, half elves. Think that, but edgy. And he's essentially very foppish.
Very foppish. Oh.
You know, aristocratic. Really likes to think that you know, much like a bard or the typical bard archetype, like I'm gorgeous, darling, that kind of character. But he's also part barbarian, part rogue. Sort of an even split there. So 3 levels on one, 3 levels on the other. He is 472 years old.
Just a lazy 472.
And I don't know how much I can go into the backstory because that might just be revealed soon. But from what you do know, he's left his familial bonds behind, but they don't want to leave him behind. In fact, the party has dealt with one of the siblings that tried to track him down, sort of solidifying that trust bond that he has with the party.
Yeah.
He's revealed a fair amount to the party, but not everything, as most good backstories go.
Of course.
But
We've all been there.
Yeah, that's mainly him. You know, he's that's the surface, the scratching the surface of his character.
So,
anything else you want to know about him, or
is he? I guess without spoiling, but is he? Was he literally aristocratic, or it just kind of behaves in such a way?
he was born into it? So he was taught to be this way.
Yep.
But he was always a bit more flamboyant than the rest of them. They were more like, yes, we must deal with these peasantry. But he was like, do we have to? I mean, they just, look at that one. So nice looking. He was a bit more upbeat than a lot of them. So he's aristocratic, but he's more upbeat.
It's kind of very similar to my character, Reginald, who's literally a noble. And probably, well, not as upbeat as San Leon, that's for sure. But definitely not the worst of the nobles, but still having a bit of that noble privilege in his mind, I guess. That's what I'm going for anyway.
That's why San Leon wants to talk to him at some point, because he's like, another aristocrat.
Aristocrat,
kind of
yes.
Let's swap notes.
Yes, why don't we? Yes.
Yes.
Swap notes about the proletariat.
Yes.
So let's have some questions from the audience, as they say. Fallen Angel Ridian, our super fan. Can I say super fan? Is that fair? Yeah, I think that's fair. So we've done the first one, but so do you like saying Kotatar? Because you say it a lot. Not that we blame you, she says.
Yes. You may see me on occasion being like, how many tars and Kotatar? But I will say it. And I think I've said it correctly every time, hopefully. But yes, no, Kotatar is San Leon's de facto, if he were to have one, best friend. The reason being is they share some traits in common, but also because they've had a bit of history, which you might learn about later. And there's more there than the rest of the party at the moment. So, San Leon will say, oh, yes, we're acquaintances, or he'll jest, we're best friends. But really, yeah, that's how San Leon views Kotatar. It's like, I can talk to you about the deeper things, I think. I can trust that you're not going to look at me like some kind of monster or creature for just getting into deep and meaningfuls. And I know that you're not going to become some blubbering mess, because neither of us are like that. And so he knows that he can just kind of have a philosophical with Kotatar, and it's great. And they've got each other's backs.
I really like the connection between those two, and maybe it's just me, and obviously this would very much depend on lines and veils, but I kind of sense possibly a little bit of a romantic connection blooming in the future. But maybe that's just me.
Well, considering Kototaro is married, I don't know about that.
Well, we haven't gone. He could be poly. We don't know.
Who knows? Yes, but Senleon is. I mean, in that regard, yeah, he's a very. Let's just say his romantic and sexual prospects definitely pan out, as it were.
Yeah. Yes, I actually did forget that Kototaro was married. Yes, my bad.
Yes.
As you say, poly is a thing.
So what you're saying is you ship it. What you're saying is you ship it. Yeah, is what. Yeah.
Oh, a little, a tiny little bit.
Yes. That pun was painful. Good. Your pains stains me.
So, can you tell us how many? This is also from Fallen Angel. Can you tell us how many levels of Barbarian and how many levels of Rogue San'Leon has? Which came first? I will jump in and say, I don't know if we want to keep this secret or not. I'm not sure. I think this is up to a DM, perhaps. If we do we keep this secret, or do we?
Hope, do you want to keep a secret? I'm fine with just being like, hey, this is how I build my character.
Yeah.
Because it's not really story. It's also like if you think on his backstory defaultly, you'd be like, oh, it's probably that one. It's keep it like what came first, the chicken or the egg kind of scenario.
Hope's good with it. So yeah, let's go for it.
Cool. So basically, the rogue side came first, and there's 3 and 3, total of level 6 character. The rogue came first just because it was quite. He would sneak around the castle a lot to get it out, and he would actually talk to the quote unquote peasantry a lot. He would actually go and disguise himself as one of the very many villages in the area.
Yeah.
And he would just have a good time. He grew very attached to the villagers, as one might imagine. The barbarian came after for reasons which I will not divulge.
Ooh, history.
Yes, I can divulge parts of it, but for now we'll see how it pans into other questions. I don't want to give away the entire thing at the start.
Okay. I possibly answered this one already, but how does your class choice play into your character's backstory?
Run that by me again. My brain just farted.
How does your class choice play into your character's backstory? So rogue and barbarian. So he talked about that a bit already.
A bit. So with the rogue, yes, that's built up, and of course you have the rest of it going sort of more into that. It's the same thing. Rogue, charlatan, very poncy and also very tricksy. With barbarian, it's very much he's a half vampire. The rogue side is his. Think of it this way: the rogue side is his in control human side. The barbarian is the vampire coming out. The jealousy, the rage, the entitlement, the feeling of being an unstoppable force, as most vampires see themselves. And that's where the barbarian comes from, and he's actually very embarrassed by it, because when he gets into the flow of combat, it just happens, and he doesn't know how to stop it yet, or he doesn't know how to control it, and it comes out as a red rage, which may change, but for the moment, that's what happens.
That's actually a really good idea. I've never actually thought about linking a class and a race so closely like that before, and I really like that. Very creative. Yeah, good job, you.
Thank you.
So it seems as though San'Leon. This is the next question. It seems as though San'Leon sees Kototaro as an equal in a lot of ways. What attributes does he admire about Kototaro?
the stoicism and the want to. This is projecting, by the way. He may also be projecting Sanleon's own whims and wants onto Kotatar, but because Kotatar has some similarities, he probably will either correctly or falsely place some of these same facets of his being onto Kotatar. So the first one would be this kind of stoicism that he does very much, but the ability to still cut through that and be able to actually chat to people, and identify the empathy that needs to be placed, even if we're not feeling as such the same as other people. Also, just the skill and prowess that Kotatar has, and the complementary skills that either like the both of us, that Sanleon and Kotatar has, that complement each other. So it's more like a Miguel and Tulio, but more morbid. And that's what he kind of sees there. And obviously he sees him as kind of like Sanleon would definitely be Miguel. But yes, that's kind of the sort of feeling that he has there. He knows Kotatar fairly well.
Yeah.
But, it's been not even a year, really. So, but it's the first person that he's come across that hasn't, over time, pushed him away because of what he is, if they start to suspect, or, and the rest of the group, I would say, is the same, but Kotatar was the first.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you can definitely notice the bond between them. Next question. We kind of talked about that already. Does San know about the change that comes over him when he rages? Well, yes, I'd say so. So next question. What are some of your favourite moments in the game so far?
That's a very difficult question because there's a lot of them, but I will try to condense. So some of the favourite moments would be some of the quippy moments, the storytelling moments, but the combat has been fun. I would say the ship was quite great with the crew of dreams. The fact that we've already had some emotional moments in terms of not knowing whether David was actually taken away by the cyclone or not, or what would happen in the portal, the suspense of, are they dead? I wonder if they're dead, or basically like anything Nira does is just great. Pushing the story forward.
Agree.
In the chaotic sense. So it feels like, best way to say is controlled chaos, but it's so good because I've got multiple compliments for that, that play style of April, but Deval just slapping Reginald because of what happened, but also casting a protection spell was really cool.
I did like that. Yeah.
The broom, just pulling up the broom and being like, oh fuck. Just from the portal, like, I see. Bugger. That was good. I thought that was really good. But so that it's really hard because like I would say just about a third of the entire thing we've done is my favorite part of the thing, and the rest of it is just also really good. It's really good, but to choose favorites is difficult. I could go on and on and on, but I think I would for the entire thing, just listing off the whole campaign.
Yes, it's always hard to choose.
Format, so
who's your favorite child? Yes.
Yes.
I'll come back to more of Fallen Angels questions in a minute because we have a question from our fabulous leader. Hope would like to know. We got to see a small glimpse of San's serious side last episode. Do you think San hides his pain behind his humour, and will he drop his guard more in the future? Dun, dun, dun.
He 100% hides it through humour. The empathy side that he has disconnected to other people is also directed at himself. He is bottling so hard. So hard. he is going like, oh, that horrible thing happened. That's fine. And then he just move along, and then like the inner version of him is going, ah, like, basically, that's fine. C'est la vie. It be how it do, my guy. So like, you know, like he's just kind of bottling really hard, and he doesn't know how to process his own emotions, because I mean, on top of just being sheltered for the longest time, and the only times he could really see other people outside his family were potential aristocratic meetings between other families, or possibly him sneaking off, which was rare because it was hard to the village. He hasn't got too much interaction with others, so he's just got this personality that has been crafted completely. And he doesn't know what his real self is. It's just, this is the crafted mask he wears, and it doesn't fall off. And he believes it.
Yeah,
he believes his own lie. So, you will probably see him a lot more vulnerable, probably, because especially if the party are amiable to listening to him talk about very morbid crap. He'll go, aha, yes, yada yada, and people will be like, what? Like, was that not normal? Yeah, so yeah, you'll see more of that, and yes, the humor does cover it up, I think. Yeah.
Speaking as someone who does bottle his emotions probably more than I should, do you find it reflects your own person with that character of bottling things?
It reflects my past self quite a lot. I am a lot better at just telling people how it be though now. But even just a couple of years ago, like I went through a big emotional awakening, and as a result, I cried for like a whole year straight. I don't know. I don't know. Basically, I was bottling for years, and then it's the pendulum swing. I'm bottling for years. It's over here. Oh, I'm allowed to show my emotions. All right. like yeah. And anything could set me off. Like I'd just drop a cup of coffee and be like, or whatever. Yeah. And now the pendulum swung has like gone in the middle, and I'm a lot more balanced now. Yes. But it took a year of healing and pain and all this kind of stuff. And we're always healing. We're always dealing with this stuff, and it's always pushing us forward. But I mean, yeah, no, it definitely shows this older side of me that was, very theatrical, hid behind humor, hid behind my work a lot. Yep. I was a workaholic for a long time, got burnt out for a year. Same year I got like an emotional...
That'll do it.
Same time. But yeah, no, I just thought, if there's anything else to process, it wasn't like a conscious thought, but I'm like, maybe I'm doing this character as kind of like a throwback to just see if there's anything else I need to work on. Yeah. It's not, but it does feel that way sometimes, It's D&D should not be therapy, but it's like improv or anything else, that if you run through something, sometimes you can dislodge little things that you do need to work on outside of the game.
Absolutely, yeah. And as we talked about with Danny, yeah, absolutely, yes. D&D is not therapy, because Danny made a really good point about, the negative side about that, and how some people can be quite nasty, which I hadn't thought about. So thank you for that, Danny. But there can be it can be therapeutic, and you can have little bits and pieces here that you can kind of work through. Yeah, I wish I'd known you a couple of years ago. I would have given you big hugs. So yes, let's go on to the next question, shall we? Where are we up to? Does Salion see the friendships developing in the group, i.e. David and Nira, and what does he think of them?
He's not emotionally observant enough. He just thinks everyone are already defaultly friends except for him. He's kind of like, well, you know, I'm the odd duck out, as most people do in a situation like that. But he propels it forward and goes, but everyone loves me, right? Because it's just juxtaposition of this is how he feels and this is how he's acting. So he doesn't see it because he doesn't know how to look for it. Because if he did know how to look for it, he would definitely see that people are starting to care for him as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
makes sense. This is an interesting question. Samuel noticed David having an anxiety attack and chose to help him. Did he surprise himself?
Yes, but also David surprised him when there was a bite back from it because he's like, I'm going to do a nice thing. This is what as a human, I will do the human thing. And I turned and was like, there. And then he was like, and I was like, that is the opposite response to what I would have thought how this would go. I need to think on this and reflect on why that happened. So he's going to internalize that for a while because he's like, that is so left field. What the hell? Why did that happen? But yeah, he did see it as an opportunity to. It's a bit, you know, it's a bit sociopathic, but to practice his comforting skills. He noticed it, but that was as far as the emotional thing went. He was like, "Oh, that's he's losing the plot right now." Well, we have to do a thing right now, and that isn't good for any of us, including himself, I suppose. There. I know that's like really like, oh, really? Is that what he was going through? But yeah, I mean, like he's not emotionally developed enough to really have the empathy to be like, oh, you poor thing. Don't worry, I'm here for you, like genuinely yet.
Yes.
There are little tiny whispers of that starting to creep into his being, but it hasn't found purchase yet.
Yes. No, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Now I think that's all the questions from Fallen Angel. Thank you. Oh, wait. Another one has dropped in. That's a
I just read that one.
That's a philosophical question. Can people without empathy recognize when others are in pain or having difficulty time when it's not verbally expressed? Yes, let's talk about philosophy.
Yes, they can.
Yes.
They can. It doesn't mean that they know how it feels, but they can recognize it. It's often a trait in narcissists and dark empaths, actually. Narcissists will recognize it because they can exploit it. And psychopaths, yes.
And psychopaths,
dark empaths are people who can use empathy, but they utilize it instead to be like, oh, I empathize with you, I'm going to help you, is, oh, I empathize and I'm going to exploit that.
Yes, it's extremely manipulative. Yes. Yes, we could talk for hours about that, about philosophy.
We
could, but we have a time limit.
We'll leave it there.
Yes. Yeah, Duval makes a very interesting point. Basically, what we're saying. Yeah, I think so. But the question is, how do they react?
Just look at San Leon, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Hope asks, does San actually realize he's the face of the party?
He thinks he's his own face. I don't think he necessarily sees himself as the face of a party. He would just go, I need to control this situation for me and for my companions. But he doesn't see it as a face thing. He just sees it as, this is getting out of control. You could argue it's the vampiric side being like, who loves control. Vampires love control. Going, I don't like this at all. And then you go, hello, I'm going to put this ball back in my park so that I can kick the ball around when I whim. How are you? Lovely to meet you. And so that's currently how it is. But he doesn't see himself as a face yet.
No. That's interesting because I think one thing I do like, and I want to explore more with Reginald, because I think Reginald does kind of see himself as the face, but Sanleon also takes charge quite a lot. So I think there's perhaps a bit of butting heads there, and perhaps competitive nature to be underlying it all about who kind of takes charge, I guess. And we haven't really.
Sanleon is at least wise enough to see if Reginald is attempting something, he'll go, "Oh, okay." If it quells a situation, I'll sit back in the wing, and if I need to step forward to help, and if this is theoreticals, right? But if Sanleon talks to Reginald, we actually get along quite well. He might suggest, "Hey, let's tag team," because in game mechanics, it's proficiency bonuses added to each other.
That's a good point, actually. I think especially if Reginald learns to trust him a little bit, I think. Because I don't think... possibly we could...
trust built up.
We could make a good tag team,
That'd be something over a few conversations. And I couldn't imagine that firing off a minute. It was like, "Hello, yes, we're with the aristocrats. Let's do stuff." He'd be like, "Hello, gauges. Gauges, gauges." The whole like back and forth between the aristocrats.
Yes.
Like there is no trust in aristocracy, only alliances, and that kind of thing. But then it might, as companionship develops, who knows?
It's such a shame that your cravat is out of place today.
Yes. Well, allow me to just tweak that because I know better than you. Yes. That kind of thing. Yeah.
I hope we do get to develop that more.
A bit of equipment would be good.
Yeah, absolutely. So keep the questions coming, chat. One from me. How did you first meet or come to know about our fabulous DM?
Oh, so that was through by proxy through Lauren. I did commissions for Heroes of the Veil, I think it's called. Yes.
Yes.
Which was that old chestnut. I did 2 commissions, both involving Penelope to tug on Hope's heartstrings. I'm terribly sorry. I did one with Penelope on, I believe the owlbear was called Might Guy, which is still to this day one of my favorite pieces. And then the other one was Penelope riding, and I'm so sorry, Lauren, if you're around. I forgot the character of the name of your character, but the Dragonborn with wings and flying across the clouds and seeing the distant cityscape harbor beneath. And then after that, I was I can't. It's a bit hazy, but I played a game with Hope and I believe David and Lauren, and I think someone else. It's been a while.
Yeah, David did mention that.
But it was such a fun game. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was a fun game, and it was a carnival thing that Hope ran. It was the first time Hope had run, and it was immaculate. So well done.
Great.
And I played a monk called YU, who was this tiefling monk, dragon ascended, back when it was still Unearthed Arcana. I was testing it out.
Oh, wow.
So it was a good time. It was really good. Really fun. So that's how we met.
Very good. So another one from me. I think I believe, and cast, please correct me if I'm wrong, that aside from David, I think Sanleon is the only character who may have been played before in a previous adventure. So did you play Sanleon in a previous adventure? Or you just had him kind of ready?
No, I've had him. I'm known as a forever DM. I'm sure a lot of you can relate.
Oh, okay, right.
Which means that I have a lot of NPCs that I go, that basically I make them because I want them to be player characters, but then I make them an NPC and give them a backstory in my world. And Sanleon was one of those. He hasn't been actually seen in my world yet. It's just that I was just like, well, we can just inject that and tweak it a bit. No, I tell a lie. I have played him once. That was in a one-shot by my friend, who was amazing. But we were I think it was like level 14, so I could fully unlock the potential of a rogue barbarian.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, he doesn't have his uncanny dodge. He doesn't have his evasion, because there's that split. So, but in that game, oh boy. Do you know, I don't think Sundown's taken damage yet in our campaign.
I think you might be right. This is because you always roll ridiculously well. Your rolling is just crazy.
It was weird. So I mean, yeah, it's for that's fine. But then I rolled ones a few times in a row to do anything outside of combat. But yes, what was I going to say? Yes, the funny thing that I was thinking about when we were doing the fighting the tentacles, all the rolls that were to hit me were just low enough not to hit my AC. But any roll that was for other people was above 20 and would have hit San Leon if they went for San Leon. So like, anyway, yes.
You have your own magical luckstone.
Yes, indeed.
Luckstone at home, don't you?
Yes.
So this is more from me. What is San Leon's relationship to others in the group? Now, I think we've talked about Kotatar. I think we've probably talked a bit about David. What is his relationships with the others in the group?
So with David, he straight up just doesn't understand him, but is morbidly curious. As to quote Johnny Bravo, "I'm sick and yet curious." Was basically he looks at him and goes, "Your emotional complexity is just, it don't make any sense. Compels me though." And so he's going to be basically like almost like an emotional guinea pig, just watching David and going like, interesting, like kind of like learning because of that deep emotional, like both wounding and also self-reflection that David's going through right now. He can go, maybe I can glean some of that for myself. It's not even like any kind of negative, it's literally just observing to be like, I could see this in myself maybe if I really do some self-reflection too. So he's sort of learning off that, watching David's journey and going, interesting. Maybe there's something that I need to work on as well. And I just don't know what it is yet. With Nero, he's, oh goodness, annoyed, but also loves that little thing. Hadn't seen a kobold before properly, and now there's this kobold that just goes shiny and like goes off, and like, he's like, oh goodness. It's there is these beginnings with him with Nero to be like, you remind me of one of my sisters when we were young, to a degree. So there are these little flashbacks he's getting, going like, one of my sisters were like you, but you aren't deranged sociopath. And so he's kind of looking and going, with Reginald, there was basically this acknowledgement. He kind of like goes, another aristocrat, interesting. What skeletons do you have in your closet? We all do. And so he's just kind of thinking, interesting. A bit neutral toward Reginald, just because we just, like, they haven't talked much, like one-on-one. And that's why I said I want to do a one-on-one at some point in the game with Reginald. I think it'd be good because it would build that repertoire between the characters.
Please.
With Silver, there is a form of respect and an acknowledgement of these deep wounds that Silver seems to carry, but he doesn't understand them yet. There are subtleties that Silver kind of gives off and kind of goes like, you are holding yourself similar to myself with the hiding the crap, maybe unintentionally or intentionally, I don't know. But he can definitely see, between yourself, Reginald, and Silver, going like, there's a deep connection there. I don't know what it is, but it's there. It's been a few months, so like he's building this up over time. For Kotatar, I've spoken at length.
Yes,
but I will reiterate, he sees them as if he were to have a best friend, it would be Kotatar. Yes, I think that's. Did I go with everyone? I think I did.
I think you got everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it just something that randomly popped into my head? Do you find it? It's probably maybe it's more relatable for my generation as I'm older. Do you find it a bit surreal that you and I are talking? We're talking about a game we're playing on a live stream, and we have fans even. Yeah. Oh my god, we have fans. It's like, is this? Do you sometimes? It happens to me. It's like, this is all very surreal. Do you feel that way?
I think I hit that a bit ago. The more surreal part is playing with all of you, all of these wonderful people. I have had maybe one group of a similar caliber, and that was a group that I had in my old city, and we played for 5 years straight. All of us could DM. All of us could act. And it was wonderful. And we all also had deep connections as friends. And it was wonderful. And I had to leave that behind. I play occasionally on Discord, but they are more in-person people. Yeah. And to this day, it's one of the biggest things I miss from that, from moving. And I feel like I've got that to a degree where it's building up with all of you. It's, we click. And that is surreal to me, because anyone can stream a game on Twitch. True. Finding a group that you click with this quickly, admire, is rare, far more rare. So that's the surrealism for me. As for fans and stuff, that's lovely. I love that people are enjoying that game. I think that as long as we just continue as we are, having fun playing, maybe the audience will build up. Maybe it won't, but that doesn't matter really. As long as we're having fun and whoever is watching is entertained as well. So thank you.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Hope's got a question. What does San think of being in the realm of the Nightmare King? And I'm going to add a little to that. Who or what do you think the Nightmare King is?
Okay, so the Nightmare King, once he figured out that this is he's still coming to terms with this might be some form of dreamland. He's sort of 2/3 of the way there. He's like, either this is a dreamland or some weird thing, and he's really just wants to like absolutely bombard Kotatar with questions, because over the 6 months, he absolutely would have had a conversation. We would have had a conversation being like, Kotatar understands realm hopping to a degree. And he would be like, what realm are we in? What are we doing here? What is this? What is it? Where are we? Like, he's going to be like, is this a land of dreams? Are we dreaming? Like, he will think Kotatar knows all the answers, because this is one of the even though San Leon is 472 years old, he's been fairly sheltered, and he's only ever really read a lot of books. He hasn't traveled much until the last 20 or so years. So it's funny. He's having his worldly journey 450 years into his life. When you think about it that way, it's quite intriguing. But with the Nightmare King, the first thing that instantly came into his head was his father. Logically, he knows it's not, but Nightmare. Oh, my dad. What a fucking piece of shit. And then he goes, no. But then he started thinking, Nightmare King, nightmares. do not fuck with my head, is basically what's going through his mind right now. He's kind of like, do not bring my father into this. Do not bring my family. Do not. And he's worried that maybe, his deepest things he's unaware of, even his worries of what might happen will surface in this realm if it indeed is a nightmare dream realm. But as one, he has theorized possibly the Nightmare King is intertwined with the actual king that we're looking for. But that's just like an in-head theory of his. He goes, well, they're both kings, and there's this weird portal god, and maybe they're taking this, and now it's some weird demi-plane of the king. I don't know how it works. Like, he'd be like, I don't know how it works, like in his head, and then he'd be like, I have a headache now. So yes, that's kind of where he's at right now. Yeah. But yes. Oh, you're muted.
I am muted. Sorry.
There we go. You're good now. You're good.
So, more questions from the fabulous Fallen Angel. From prior to the stream, character creation,
Mm-hmm.
to now, what characteristics have changed, if any? What surprised you about San Leon?
Well, unfortunately, and this is a byproduct of just me being me, I didn't play him exactly how I wanted, or didn't foresee how he would be, but I don't hate it. I think it's fine. I think it's just a direction. I originally just thought he would be like, yes, indeed, very suave and, aloof. But he's become more, oh, yes, and it's just me, like, a bit of my own, because there's facets like it. It's just kind of come through as just like, yes, quite. So that's changed a lot.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Originally, his rage was meant to be something else too.
Oh, what was it supposed to be?
I've wiggled it round, and I think that would be a spoiler for his character.
Oh, okay, yes, no spoilers, no spoilers. Yes.
Yes,
I'm the same too. I imagined Reginald to be more snobbish and more full of himself, which he still is. But yes, it's just you lovely people bringing out that side of myself, and I'm like, oh my god, okay, this is changing.
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay, because it's like I akin characters development as when you play the character, it's like trying on a pair of shoes at the shop and then breaking them in. You're breaking in a pair of shoes as you're breaking in your character. These shoes won't feel like how you thought they were going to, but eventually you'll break into it, and they'll be the most comfortable thing you wear for a good few years. As long as you look after it.
Very well put, actually. Well done. Do you like puzzles in TTRPG games, and what did it feel like to solve the puzzle last episode?
So, funnily enough, I don't like puzzles.
Oh,
I'm good at them.
Damn it! I'm the opposite.
I deliberately never look up puzzles. I don't like cheating on puzzles, so I just don't do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right. But as a result, if I can't solve a puzzle, I don't solve the puzzle, and then I just leave it. So if I'm playing a video game, for instance, and there's like a puzzle for a secondary thing, it's like, do this. And I'm like, I want to solve it myself. And then I don't have time for this. I'm annoyed now, and I just leave. But with this, it's like, for some weird reason in RPGs and stuff, because it's storytelling. I think it's because the puzzles have more storytelling elements to them. Like, what kind of storytelling would this be? And would my character know this? I think I thought of this specific thing just before San Leon started walking away, but I had a few things to try. So we'll try walking away first, because maybe there's something. It's like the reflection really is a reflection, but if we look in the direction, it's not that way. So we have to walk that way, and then it will appear maybe 500 meters off or something. One's like, oh, congratulations, have a cookie. And he was like, I don't know if this is working. Let's try the other one at least. We're near the mirror, and we already know that touching it doesn't do anything weird to us. It doesn't like suck us in or anything weird. So we can physically do things to this reflection, and it won't. There's no negative that we know of. No negative ramifications. So I was like, well, the worst that's going to happen is going to walk into it, and it'll be uncomfortable. We're like, but I just theorized, if there's can't see it. But no one can see it though. It has to be all the people that I figured that if one of us could see it at all, it wouldn't work. So we all had to close our eyes. It had to be a joint effort off the bat.
That's interesting. So, I wonder what would have happened if only like half of us closed our eyes. Look, would half of us go through? Or
I think because it's like it's as one would say. If there's no one in the forest to hear the tree fall over, does it make a sound?
Yeah.
If someone is observing it, or like the shrung along a dongalingalinga's box or whatever the heck.
Are you talking about Schrodinger's
someone
cat?
is there to observe it. Yes. Yes. Yep. If there is someone to observe the atoms doing something, they will be doing the thing. But if no one observes it, is it active? Is it there? So we all had to do it. So if someone was observing it, it is real. So we would have walked in. That's my theory. So we would have walked into it and go bonk. Oh, fuck. But if all of us didn't see it, then walk through. I'm glad that was true. I didn't know it would be. The reflection will still be there. Yeah.
Hang on, was the orc reflected? I can't remember now.
No, the orc was not reflected. The card was.
Yeah.
The orc was not.
Okay. Because I was just thinking maybe the orc had to also close its eyes.
No, the orc was just there being like...
yeah.
Like the whole time. Probably still there. Oh, Poor Steve. Like a lost miniature that we could never quite find. Yes.
Yeah. This is a very subjective question from me. So what do you think, and we've kind of covered some of this, what do you think has worked so far with San Leon? And what do you think hasn't worked, if anything?
Is that just a general question of what do you think has worked and hasn't, like a very broad one?
Yeah.
A little early to tell right now, I think. But if I was to pin it, I think I enjoy the interactions that San Leon has with other characters.
Yep.
The Kotata relationship is great. I love it at the moment. Combat, we've had one instance, I believe, of combat. So it's not, it's hard to tell whether, he hit a couple things once or twice.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's good or not. I just know that I built him a certain way. I don't know if it's good. I built him as a tank. I built him as a tank that was meant to be a solo effort, and if he was near a bunch of people at once, and he could get advantage on them without having to use his reckless attack, so he could be a tanky boy. He's not supposed to deal a crap ton of damage. He's just meant to hit hard once.
Yeah.
A true tank. So, but again, we haven't tested it because I haven't, San Leon hasn't been able to protect people. He hasn't been able to get in the way of things or distract a bunch of people because the tentacles were very chaotic when we fought them.
Yeah.
And they'd go for just about anyone who attacked them. They wouldn't just be like, he's a threat. We'll go for him.
Yeah.
Oh, they did a bit, but I think at one point, but it's just not enough to really. Yeah. So combat's undecided. I don't know. I think he's all right. As for storytelling and getting through things, I mean, his intelligence and wisdom isn't very high. So, they're not. It's not a single digit, but it's just not very high. So San Leon tends to leave that to other people who might suggest things. But I akin to his intelligence and wisdom to the average person, or just slightly above. So he'd be like, maybe that could be a thing. So I think about my own intelligence in that regard. Like, what would I know in that situation? Probably not much. And be like, but he won't be like, no. He'll be like, I don't think I have the right prerequisites to deal with this situation. He would make it very frilly to say, "Oh, fuck
Yeah."
So I don't know. It's a little early to see what does and does not work with him yet.
Well, I think you're doing fantastic.
I think.
And I love San Leon. So Danny has a question. What is the motivation? What was the motivation for San to start adventuring? Or is that a spoiler?
How much can I tell you without it being a backstory spoiler?
Yes.
Well, what you would know is he wanted to get away from his parents. Like any college student. As for why, the party knows certain things, like parents bad, siblings bad. But he hasn't gone into the full breadth of exactly, he's an aristocrat background. But as to what significance, don't know. Or where, you don't know. There's all this stuff that you just don't know. So I think the short answer is he wanted to get away from it all.
Yep.
Doesn't want to go back.
Yep, understandable. Tune in next week to find all the answers. This week.
Yes, I'll tell you all of them.
It is this week.
All of them. This week. You're just like, hi everyone. Yes, we're going through the intro. Like, right. More dump. Yes.
All right, one from me. Without spoilers, of course. As I've said before, we don't control the narrative completely, but we do in some ways. What are you hoping to happen, or what are you hoping happens in the remaining episodes? Either for your character or the narrative, from anything.
I want lore. I want juicy lore from the other players and their characters, and I want to get some, just exchange all that and just learn more. I want to kill the Night King.
Got to kill the Night King first, and then you kill the Nightmare King.
The Nightmare King. Yes, we'll kill the Night King, and then all his White Walkers, and then I want to have the class, finish the romp, get through, have some interesting, wibbly wobbly crap happen from the realm itself. Probably to us, it will happen. I surmise. I'm unsure. I don't know. But I would like to just be like, like those sequences where you're just like falling through darkness, and all of a sudden you're like, that push-pull focus as it just kind of pulls in, and you're like, oh, I'm back in my old estate. What's this? Oh, and then like, I'm young again, or something weird. Just the weird shit that's happening. Could be interesting. I honestly just want to experience it.
Yeah.
But one of the big things I do want that would be probably outside of the experience, that is directly from the players, would be just how much lore we get to learn.
Yeah.
From each other.
Yeah.
So that's up to us as players to a degree.
Yeah. I think the biggest mystery is Nira. As me and as a character as well, I have no idea about Nira, like her backstory, like what makes her tick.
Yeah,
she's just pure chaos, and I love her.
Shiny
love
stuff.
Her, but I want to know so much more about her. Anyway,
and before like all this bubbliness, like oh shiny, and be like, yes, my whole family was killed in disaster. And you're like, ah! Yes.
Nira's just like, I want to have fun.
Yes. I want to experience a TPK. No.
No, nobody wants that. Why would you want that?
Yes, yeah, no. If it happened, I would be like, okay, but like, I'd be like, oh, all right, yeah, sure. I'm not gonna be like, it's not off the table, but like, of course, no one wants the TPK. That'd be weird. It's like, I've just put so much into this character.
Yeah.
Let's all die. I love it. Yeah, no, thank you.
Yes, I think. Yes, I don't think we want that. Anyway, that just blew my brain for a second. I'm back now. So any more questions from the chat? Otherwise, I'll have one final question and we'll call it a day. Any more you want to share, I guess, about your character? It's not a huge stinking spoiler.
I was about to say, not off the top of my head, that wouldn't be a spoiler that would cheapen moments later if we happen to have them. Watch the space. Big things coming. I don't know. But yeah, not really. Nothing that. Not unless someone asks a question and I'm like, oh, I can answer that. Like, there's nothing that I want to share specifically about him. That you won't learn in game later, I think.
Excellent.
Question.
Duval has a question. Well, before while we wait for the quest, I'll ask my final one, which is I always ask, do you have anything to plug, my good friend?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, goodness. I didn't prepare anything for this. So, as you know, I'm a voice actor. I do have a voice profile. You can look me up. Daniel Denova. You can find it. It'll be through an agency called Big Mouth. I am starting my own D&D lore channel, which will be happening soon. I just have to keep pushing it back because of all the other work I've been doing, but it's actually getting there where it's going to happen. My Twitch, Haynes Domain. I do art streams. I'm probably going to start doing some class and character creation streams if you want to see those.
Ew, hang on.
I'm going to be doing them.
And you do the streams. I thought it was some weird tiefling guy. I didn't think that was you.
I'm his manager, and basically, you can go there and we will, like, on Saturdays, the idea is I have a lot of things I want to create to publish, but I lack the motivation to push it to completion because of all the other work I have to do. But because it will be a stream and because it will be with people who can actively participate in helping me create it, that'll be dope. I have things like the Cosmic series of subclasses for each thing, and also the Psychic series, which I'm going to be pushing through. For instance, here's a few examples if you want to hear them. Would you like to hear them?
Yes.
It's not going to be anything too long. Just so, for instance, the Cosmic Monk. They can actually manipulate their body to absorb. So the catch missiles. It'll be a changed version of that, where if you expend a key point to catch missiles, a black hole will appear on your body to absorb the kinetic energy coming in, and however much you absorb, you will get key points back. So it's an upgraded version of it with that subclass. So if you absorb half the damage, you gain the key point back. If you absorb all of it, you gain 2 key points back, which means you generated a key point. It's meant to be a tank monk class.
Wow.
The other one that I'm developing for the psychic class is a paladin. It's based off, Inquisition type stuff. But you do psychic damage with your smites. And when you smite someone, you can expend a point based on your charisma modifier and +1 to extract a truth, like a commune. So you can hit someone, you hit them. If they fail their wisdom save, you can ask a question inside your head and you'll get a yes or no answer based on them and anything they're trying to hide.
Wow. This is
But I need to
absolutely
finish it.
fascinating.
Yeah, for it too.
And how has Wizards not thought of this already? This is amazing. Well, all comes from your amazing brain, sir. Last question. Duval asks, why is your voice so ridiculously, incredibly, amazingly awesome with sprinkles?
Lots of, I don't know, training. Thank you.
Oh, you've made him blush now. Oh, look at this. Made him blush.
Thank you kindly. Yes.
Yes, you do have a very good voice, and it's
Thank you.
Obviously you have worked on it, and you're an extremely creative person. So I think that will be all. Yes, I think that will be all. Thank you so much for joining us, Daniel. You've
Thanks
been fantastic. Duval is tomorrow, so be prepared. Be prepared. There's going to be a lot of Samleon and Twitter questions, I think. So yes, ask all the questions as Duval. So yes, prepare the questions.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, yes, we'll see you tomorrow, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this lovely chat, and see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.
Bye.